Remember Michael Avenatti? Yes, you remember Michael Avenatti. He was, he was on CNN over 100 times, 122 times actually. And CNN was even promoting him as a presidential contender. He was on MSNBC over 100 times. Why? This is for his relentless, savage bashing of Trump. And of course, his client was the porn star Stormy Daniels. Avenatti was also, of course, regularly on ABC, CBS, NBC. Well, Michael Avenatti is back in court. He's on trial. And he's on trial for what? Fraud. Now, Michael Avenatti has already been convicted in a couple of other cases. He was found guilty of trying to shake down and blackmail Nike. And I think he got a 2.5-year sentence for that, which he hasn't actually started serving yet. But here he is back in court being sued by, well, Stormy Daniels. And this time I'm not seeing a lot of Michael Avenatti and CNN. They're not really covering this case, I think, because they're covered in embarrassment. Now, Michael Avenatti has been ripping off, it seems, his own client. And how he's doing it shows what sleazeballs these kinds of people are. Notice that these are people who pose as champions of social justice. Trump is a danger to the country. We've got to get rid of him. I'm gonna set aside my legal. I'm gonna take all kinds of risks because I need to put myself on the line to go after this guy. Now, let's look at the mechanics of what Michael Avenatti did. Stormy Daniels made a contract to write a book. And she was supposed to be getting payments of, I think the total advance, it says here, $800,000. She was essentially going to get roughly $200,000 in 4 payments. The first payment, I think, was a little higher. The second one, a little bit lower. But let's just go with the 4 equal payments of $200,000. So she got the first payment, no problem. But when she was due the second payment, she mentioned to Avenatti, hey, my second payment is due. And what Avenatti does, he goes to the book agent and he says, hey, listen, he gave the book agent his account, not Stormy Daniels' account, to put the money in. Now, the agent said, listen, I can't do that. I need a signature from Stormy Daniels authorizing me to send the payment, not to her, but to you. And then the agent got a letter, as it turned out, forged by Avenatti, claiming to be from Stormy Daniels, saying, go ahead and process the payment, give it to Mr. Avenatti. So here's Avenatti. What's he doing? He's outright stealing from his own client. And the money, sure enough, went into Avenatti's account. Avenatti spent it on all kinds of things, including himself, airfare, insurance, hotels, car services, restaurants. He put some of the money into a coffee business he owned. He spent some on another case involving a different client, not Stormy Daniels. And then when the third payment was due, Avenatti contacted the publisher in advance and said, I want this payment early. And the payment was wired into Avenatti's account. So he took a second payment, another roughly $200,000. And Stormy Daniels apparently went to Avenatti on the day the payment was due and said, where's my payment? And Avenatti replies to her, quote, on it. I'm on it. Not saying that 2 weeks earlier he had collected the money himself and not told her a word. So Stormy Daniels had no idea that there was this second account set up by Avenatti, and he was essentially siphoning off her funds. Finally, of course, she figured it out. She became furious. She's suing Avenatti. And so here you have a classic Democratic scoundrel, a classic leftist, pretends to be doing this all for noble purposes, is essentially a racketeer lining his own pocket. I'm hoping he gets like another 2.5 years for this one because Michael Avenatti, well, he might still appear on CNN. I don't think he's going to. They really have decided, well, this guy's not going to make it to the White House after all. He's more likely to be sitting in the big house.